welcome to another edition of the Suplah. I am Andy Kwan, and with me as always is Sam Brooks.
You know what saying doesn't make any sense?
What saying does not make any sense, Sam?
Slow and steady wins the race. Name me a single race where being slow wins you that race. A race.
None.
A race where the objective is to be the fastest and to finish first. Name me a single race. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And if anything, the tortoise and the hare fable is fucking stupid.
What is the lesson? What is the
no
moral
lesson.
to learn from that?
The lesson from that is fables are dumb. Don't fucking believe fables. They're
The
stupid.
lesson there is that Aesop is full of shit.
Yeah,
Oh no,
there
I
you go.
said shit on the internet. Oh no. Oh, you know what? You know who else is probably going to say shit a lot? Coming up soon? Andrew?
Monday Night Raw! Because Monday Night Raw, I thought you were going to continue on with that, but don't.
No,
okay.
I'm waiting for
Monday...
you to do the usual spiel. You always read out the news headline.
So, Monday Night Raw was PG, but as of this coming Monday, it will no longer be a PG show, it will be TV-14, meaning that the PG era is kind of over, technically speaking. So, that's it, Sam. The PG era of wrestling is over. People will be bleeding everywhere. There'll be claret everywhere. People will be saying fuck, shit, balls, cunt. They'll be saying all these words. It's going to be great. The Attitude Era is going to be back. Everyone's going to get their tits out. It's going to be fucking amazing. The Attitude Era has returned. Vince Russo's coming back. It's all happening. It's all happening, Sam. Is this going to help, Sam? Do you think this is going to help? Do you want my answer? Do you really want my answer? You're going to love my answer.
I feel like you're going to give me your answer regardless of whether you want me to hear it.
Just say it, please. Otherwise, I feel like I don't have the...
What do you think, Andrew?
I think it will make no fucking difference whatsoever.
Wow. What a shock. What a
Yeah.
controversial opinion.
Oh,
Probably get into where this news actually came from.
Yes.
Our
Where
journalistic integrity is on the line here.
Oh, where did it come from, Sam?
The Wrestling Observer's own Andrew Zarian tweeted
not
out.
Dave, then. Good.
No, it's
Good.
not Dave, so really, this could be bollocks, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Andrew Zarian says on Twitter, "This is a wild situation. There's a lot happening behind the scenes." Why do they always fucking say that?
Because
Always.
Dave... Right, when you work for the Wrestling Observer, right, or Figure 4 Online, or whatever the fuck it is, Dave...
Sharpshooter Daily.
Big Dave goes, right, okay, this is what you gotta do. This is a great journalistic thing that you must say. What you have to say is things are happening. Yeah? If you don't say that, people don't get it. They get fucking confused. It's a foozy, it's a farzy, it's bollocks. Right? I've watched Wolf of Wall Street, okay? It's not my fault. So basically, that's what you do. You just go, things are happening. It covers your back because things are happening. I didn't say what. Woo. Twat.
So he says, there's a lot happening behind the scenes. WWE Raw won't be going to TV-14 on July 18th,
Oh shit!
but
I was wrong.
still in consideration for a later date. There was a memo within USA Network that went out this morning regarding WWE Raw changing to TV-14 on July 18th. Apparently, that was sent out prematurely, and the day was not finalized.
So this could be just total bollocks then.
He said that there was an internal memo saying that Raw could be changing to from PG to TV-14 in the near future. This show, let's give it a backstory. This show, Raw, which airs on USA Network, has been rated TV PG since July 2008. This is when I started to come in as a fan here. I think I joined, I joined in the death rattle before the PG branding classification.
Right, okay.
Since then, as we know, the company has attempted to become more family-friendly by catering towards children and avoiding any excessive violence and blood. Any weapons are used generally in a much safer way. You won't be seeing any cracking skulls with the chair shots. Any of that stuff. You won't hear anyone saying such risque sexual innuendos. WWE had openly criticized its competitor AEW for a match earlier this year, saying what occurred was gory self-mutilation. I believe this is referring to the Britt Baker match, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like...
with all the blood and such.
They are complete hypocritical shitebags.
Well, this is the thing, Andy. Everything I just said now, that you won't see many weapons, you won't see much blood, you won't see much sexual innuendo, that was a lie. It was still prevalent. It was still there. They delivered it in such a way where it wasn't too on the nose. At least not for the censors. At least not for the USA Network. Wherein they could get away with a lot of things, like Enzo Amore running around backstage naked, accosting women. But, you know, there's that whole thing of, like, the PG era is the death of wrestling, and it made it all family-friendly, children are happy, and I don't like it, I'm so miserable, woe is me, PG era is bollocks. However, it is now nearly over. Even though technically, according to the WWE, the PG era ended, like, 2016, with the reality era. But we'll get to that later. TV-14, Andrew,
This is just stupid.
is perhaps most famous for being the classification that WWF had in the Attitude Era.
Okay, here's something that I didn't know, right? SmackDown, according to Brian Alvarez, has always been PG.
What, really?
Yep, because it's on network television, I think. That's
Ever since it launched in
yep,
2001.
even with The Rock going, I like to lick pie and eat fucking pie.
I like to lick pie and eat ass. No, Rock, no. That's not the point of what you're saying.
If you smell... Anyway, sorry, so yeah. Don't know what I just said there, but whatever. So the point is, it was PG that whole time. No one realised it until now.
I feel like we should maybe break down a couple of the different eras in WWE so that we can maybe get to the root of why this is such a monumental change.
This reality era is not a real thing, by the way.
Well, shall we start with the Attitude Era first and foremost?
It's for leg and the ball said that one, yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's the In Your Eye theme, because walls to the ball.
There's no life in the box, you told me. Take a job in the heart and the soul of me.
You want 5 asses, see them face down.
Blinded by the door in your eye.
So that's our rendition of that song. Is actually amazing, but I don't know why I just took the piss out of it.
I love songs that don't have perceivable lyrics. They're my
nonsensical
favorite songs.
Lyrics, I believe OSW review.
It's like that one song by Blur where it's like, woohoo!
When I feel my balls fell out,
woohoo!
and I feel like I'm a pedal, woohoo!
Yeah, they don't have words. If you think they have words, if you think they have lyrics, you're wrong.
They do have lyrics. It goes, I feel like I've been led on, woohoo.
No, that's not the words. It goes like, I feel like I've been on, woohoo! That's how it goes.
that song has lyrics.
He's just making generic throat noises. Those aren't lyrics. If you say they're lyrics, you're lying. You've been misinformed.
Oh, no, okay, right. I know we're supposed to be talking about this, but I feel like, 1 minute. Song 2 by Blur.
No, shut up. The Attitude
I'm
Era.
looking up right now. Okay, here we go. Full lyrics. Okay, so the
These
lyrics...
are lies published by the publisher to make you think that it has words when really we all know that Damon Albarn stepped into the booth and he just said whatever the fuck he wanted and they made it sound like words in editing.
Bruv, no, oh my god, I've got the lyrics wrong. So it goes... When I feel heavy metal, woo, and I'm pins and I'm needles, woo. Well, I lie and I'm easy all of the time, but I'm never sure why I need you.
No, these aren't, you're making it up. These aren't actual song lyrics.
I just googled it. That's what it says.
Fake news, fake news. Anyway, the fucking Attitude Era, Andy.
Well, we got a picture. We got to get ourselves into the 90s. That was the idea. We have
With
to get
Stone.
ourselves.
When did that song even come out?
19. It was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Song 2 by Blur.
Yeah, Song
That
2
came
by
out
Blur, 1997.
Okay,
yeah,
fair.
there you go.
Fair
Perfect.
enough.
We're,
All right, so
we're now in the 1990s. Welcome to 1997.
1997 to 2002 is the birth and the death of the Attitude Era. Woohoo! And it's the Attitude Era.
Yep.
It featured adult-oriented content,
Tits.
extreme violence,
Headshots.
profanity, sexual content,
Suck it.
scenes not suitable for children,
Middle fingers.
the rise of Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Kane, Mick Foley, Austin McMahon feud, Stacy Keibler, China, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, TLC, Degeneration X, Ministry of Darkness, The Brood, Hardcore Championship, baby.
Mae Young giving birth to a hand.
You were there for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't.
Right, okay.
Because when this started, I was
Don't
2 years old.
Oh, fucking hell, I'm so old. Stop! You didn't need to mention that. Why did you have to bring that up? You could just go,
I was born in 1995.
Oh, no, don't,
So,
Sam, don't
you know
do
more
that.
about this in its time than I ever will.
It's
Looking
ironic.
back on it from my perspective,
Yeah.
it definitely has a vibe.
Yeah, no, it has got a sort of, I don't want to say childish, but I don't know what the right word is.
Juvenile?
That's it. But that's the thing, I think it was Kevin Nash in a shoot interview who said, when I walk past, say, an elementary school and the kids are getting off the school bus, they're calling each other, dickheads, I don't know, I fucked your mum's a twat, I don't know, all this kind of thing, right? And they watched it, and at the time, they would watch things and they probably still do, stuff that's adult.
Well, this was at a time where South Park.
Yeah, I was
South
about
Park
to
was
say,
at the pinnacle of television, right?
Yeah, so they would
If you watch
in the
any
90s,
match from a fucking Attitude Era, you'll probably see a South Park sign in the audience.
Yeah, people would watch South Park, and The Simpsons was a bit edgy at that time, and stuff like that. And that's the thing, if you want to aim a TV show for children, don't make it aimed at fucking at actual children, because they want to watch things that are edgy because it's cool, and they can I don't know. That's how it works. As a child, I was yeah, suck it, and all this kind of thing because I was just a dickhead. But the point is, that's the kind of thing that you're doing it all wrong. You're alienating adults, and you're actually alienating kids. So the one time that you could actually make this fun for all the family, I suppose, is like this. And it was never. And it was actually. I mean, I did write an article about this on our website, which you can go to, suplah.com. I would argue that this era was very, very popular. It's not as popular as the 80s, though, but I go on to say that. But
I'd argue that the Attitude Era is probably what a majority of people now remember.
yeah, that when people say wrestling, they instantly go to that era.
I mean, granted, in another maybe 5 or 10 years, we'll get people talking about the Ruthless Aggression Era in a similar way.
I don't know. I feel
By the way, the Ruthless Aggression Era was basically the stopgap between the Attitude Era and the PG Era, 2002 to 2008. You saw the rise of people like John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, JBL, Kurt Angle. Eddie Guerrero, yeah. That other guy.
Shawn Michaels, again.
Yeah.
That wasn't me complaining, by the way. That was
the guy who entered in the Royal Rumble at number 1 and won it.
Steven Richards.
Yeah. He'll show you. You'll see.
Let that joke never die.
It'll never get old. I love it still. But yeah, no, okay. Ruthless Aggression Era. And then you had the PG era. There were a lot of factors that went into the PG era. Probably the most notable being that one guy doing that terrible thing.
Alright, let's just mention Benoit, fuck it.
Yeah, Chris Benoit murdered his child, his wife, and then killed himself. We have a very in-depth discussion on that called the Chris Benoit Files on this channel, narrated by Keelan Balderson. You can go and see that. That's a plug for that. It's the only thing on this channel that gets any views nowadays, but besides the point. He doing what he did in 2007, right?
Christ, was it that long
June
ago?
2007, July 2007.
Yep.
That happened. And you could feel the winds of change as soon as you saw that message from Vince McMahon, which opened up that Tuesday's ECW.
Yeah, like,
Where he said there will be no mention of Chris Benoit ever again going forward, and we will provide you with entertainment. In comes the drug policy. The I don't know what it's called, but it's the idea that if you get busted for being on steroids, the wellness policy. That's what it was. If you get busted for being on steroids or marijuana, or cocaine, any sort of drug, you would have a free strike system. Strike 1 is you get suspended for 30 days. Strike 2, you get suspended for 60 days. Strike 3, you get fired. Some people would just get fired outright.
Yeah.
So other people would not be popped for it at all because they were high performers in the company and they didn't want to inflict that on some of their highest earning superstars. So there's good and there's bad about this era, but a lot of people look upon it with disdain and a lot of hatred, honestly. This was the era where I got into it. PG era, of course, seeing the rise of stars like CM Punk, John Cena still was. I think John Cena was the poster boy for this era.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Definitely. A lot of different people in the main title picture. When I first got in, it was Jeff Hardy. He was like the popular guy in like 2008, and then he had that whole feud with CM Punk about the drugs and all that stuff.
See, I feel like there's gems in it though. Like the people complain about it, but
I mean, if we didn't have a PG era, we wouldn't have people like Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I mean,
or Sheamus.
Didn't Jericho feud with Michaels during this era?
Yeah, Jericho had that feud with Michaels.
That's what I'm saying.
Famously, you had those Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, that duet of matches that happened at back-to-back WrestleManias.
Triple H and Taker.
Yeah, you had John Cena versus Randy Orton was in its infancy at that time, but it was the hottest storyline at the time.
I mean, The Undertaker's streak came to a fucking end.
I'd argue that sort of was at the end of the PG era. I think that was what sort of ended the PG era.
What is this other era then you keep going on about?
Because they like to define these different eras, apparently. And this is all off Wikipedia. According to Wikipedia, the PG era, it started July 22nd, 2008. You can carbon date it to that exact day. However, it's disputed as to whether it's ended or not.
It hasn't ended. Everything's still PG.
Because there have been the reality era.
That's bollocks.
The new era.
That does not
The
exist.
Wednesday Night Wars. And the Thunderdome era.
No. Okay, Thunderdome...
Would you say that these are all subcategories of the PG era then?
Yes, I would say so. They're not like... I feel like they are subfolders. They're like a folder with... If there was a folder on your computer that said PG era and you wanted to categorize more stuff, it's like a subfolder in those folders. Like, I wouldn't call the Thunderdome era an era because it really only went on for about a year and a bit. So, I feel like it's a subfolder. I think calling it
looking at all of these subfolders, the reality era is officially defined as beginning 2014 and ending in 2016.
What does it mean? It's bollocks. Reality.
I'm about to fucking tell you if you'd shut up. Just sit the fuck down and be quiet and I'll tell you.
Okay.
The reality era is mostly defined by the Daniel Bryan storyline and The Shield.
What?
Those are the two main characteristics. And when I say The Shield, they obviously debuted in 2011. 2012, yeah, 2012. God, that was 10 years ago. That was all fucking ages ago. But no, they debuted in 2012, but their breakup of the Shield and their rise to prominence as their own individual single stars, that constitutes a lot of a reality era.
So surely this era should have been called the Shield era.
Well, other notable occurrences are the streak coming to an end, and Sting turning up in the company.
What an awful fucking thing that was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In comparison
Maybe.
to what he's doing in AEW now, for fuck's sake, I mean, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, the Daniel Bryan storyline is basically the linchpin of this era. To then, in 2016, it was dubbed the New Era, which is apparently the era that we're in now. We're in this new era, which is defined by Roman Reigns, the Women's Revolution, the second brand split, and that apparently subcategory is the Thunderdome era.
Because of COVID, yeah.
Because of COVID. So these are the supposed eras that WWE has been defined by. All of these, like, they have different superstars, they have different styles of wrestling, they have different agendas in the programming. What I really want to know is, by changing Raw to becoming TV-14, does that signify a new era, or will it actually not change anything? You don't seem to think it will change anything.
Okay. Because they love eras, because fans like to put time into boxes for some fucking godforsaken fucking reason, I think it will be a new era, because technically the PG era is over. But in terms of the actual show itself, I can't see it. Like, there's one thing that they have failed to change. Like, you could say fuck all you want. You can have Roman Reigns stand in front of the camera and go, fuck. It doesn't matter. If that show is 3 hours long, it doesn't matter. That is the problem. Like, you only fixed the problem, like half of the problem. You've gone, right, you can all swear now. Great. Do we have to do this for 3 hours? Yes. Do we have to sit here and watch this for 3 hours? Yes. Well, I'm not.
Do we still have a singular person holding both world championships, not appearing on TV? Yes.
That's the like. The booking is awful, and then the show's gone on for too long. You've only fixed one of the problems. You've still got all these other fucking issues, and you're not really addressing those. You're just hoping, being like, hey, remember the Attitude Era? Remember that? Like, ooh, we could bring it back if we want. Like,
well, here's an interesting thing to look at. Because this is all hinging on TV ratings. I feel like it helps to maybe describe to people what these ratings actually mean. Because if you're like in the UK like us, we have different classifications for things. Like in America you have TV-PG, TV-14, TV-MA. Over here you have 12, 15, 18, different strokes for different folks. So let's look at TV-PG for a sec.
Tomato.
TV-PG can be defined as, this program contains material that parents may find unsuitable for younger children. Programs rated TV-PG may contain some material that parents or guardians may find inappropriate for younger children. Programs assigned a TV-PG rating may include infrequent coarse language, some sexual content, some suggestive dialogue, or moderate violence. I think that sums up the PG era quite well. Bearing in mind that's what it's defined as. It's defined by that sentence.
Yeah.
However, TV-14. This program contains material that most parents will find unsuitable for children under 14 years of age.
Oh, snap.
Programs rated TV-14 contain material that parents or adult guardians may find unsuitable for children under the age of 14. The FCC warns that parents are cautioned to exercise some care in monitoring this program. and
Well,
are
I want to
cautioned
watch
against
Stone Cold.
letting children under the age of 14 watch unattended. So what that basically means is, it could be the exact same thing, but you have to watch it with your dad. Or with your mum. Or with both.
Yeah, I don't know how I
Programs
got
with this
away.
rating contain intensely suggestive dialogue,
Good lord. I don't know how I was allowed to
strong,
watch
coarse
this.
language, intense sexual situations, or intense violence. We're upping the intensity, Andrew. Here's the thing, though. Remember the rated R sex celebration that Edge and Lita had? We're gonna see things like that again. Bearing in mind, that has aged horrifically. It's really honestly quite bad to look at now. Especially when you consider how neither of those people enjoyed doing that. And how it ended with Ric fucking Flair coming out.
That
And
really,
being Ric Flair doing Ric Flair things. This is what I don't get about people that harken back towards the Attitude Era and the TV-14 rating, meaning that it was by default a good program because you remember it being better than what you're seeing now.
I think the issue...
I don't think it was. I think it was still intensely problematic and a bit shit, but you were younger and you didn't have such a critical thinking mind at the time. And that's okay. You're allowed to think that things that you saw when you were a kid were better than they are now. Because it's all fucking... You're playing a game of telephone with your own mind. You're not recalling it as it is. You're recalling it as how you remember it. Like, people will remember the Attitude Era. They'll remember Steve Blackman coming out, hitting Cactus Jack with a garbage kin and fucking winning the hardcore title. People remember Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off the top of a Hell in a Cell. They'll remember unprotected chair shots to the head.
I don't think...
None of these things, if you look at it objectively, are good things that happened. That shit, like, Mick Foley being thrown off the top of Hell in a Cell, that damaged him permanently. And fucked up his entire, like, persona.
That was a bad idea. But the thing
the unprotected chair shots are in part what probably led to the Chris Benoit murder-suicide.
But I feel like
and numerous amounts of premature professional wrestling deaths due to drug use.
Yeah, but
like, nothing. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
There's a difference. I think people are being like, yeah, it's the Wild West again. It's like, no, because there's three things, right, that I think we're not going back to the Attitude Era. It's just not going to happen. Number one, there's a wellness program, so they're not all going to be on roids. So they're not all going to be, like, taking a shit ton of drugs and all that kind of thing. To the protected chair shots, you look at AEW, for instance. They've been TV-14 since since its inception, right?
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up, actually. There's different shows that are rated TV-14, and I want to list off a couple of them now for you.
Okay.
Stranger Things. Better Call Saul.
Right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I couldn't get into that one.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I kind of stopped after
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that goes off the rails.
The Office.
Never seen it, sorry.
Supernatural.
I don't know what that is.
Friends. Modern Family.
Never seen it.
The Big Bang Theory. I'm fucking pulling your chain at this point. I don't know if half of these are, but like you get the idea. Like
you don't know
a lot
what the
of
Big
these,
Bang Theory is.
A lot of these, including AEW Dynamite, are rated TV-14.
Yeah. But like,
is
my point...
Dynamite an equivalent to WWF Raw is War?
No. Well,
no.
The kind of because
you think like... I don't think it is. Honestly, I think they're two entirely different schools of thought. But go ahead.
I think in terms of some of its content, yes, but not all of it. Like for instance, I was gonna say like they still have matches where like take Blood and Guts for argument's sake. That's a perfect prime example, right? They use glass, they use like thumbtacks and weapons, and they're all fucking bleeding. A guy was hung upside down like he was a fucking stuffed ham. Like, it's things like that I would think would happen in the Attitude Era. But what you will notice in that match is every time they swung a chair at somebody, they all protected their fucking heads. They didn't take any unprotected chair shots. AEW has done that the entire time, except for when Cody decided to be really clever to get twatted over the head with a chair, which was supposed to be gimmicked, by the way, and it fucked up. That's the only time I can recall a unprotected chair shot. So, like, that's just one example. There's elements of it that you can do in a modern age that I'm hoping in 10 years when I listen to this back has aged okay. But, like, and the other thing, so what did I say? The wellness policy, unprotected chair shots, and also the way that women are treated. Women are now treated a million times better than they were in the Attitude Era. In the Attitude Era, they were just fucking eye candy. That's all they fucking were. And now women are having matches that are on par with the guys, which would have been unfucking thinkable 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't know how long it's been. Time is a thing. It goes too quickly. So there's that. So there's those three things. I don't see everything going back to the Attitude Era. I mean, because it just can't. Society's sort of moved on from all this. Do people want wrestling that is more adult, and that's why AEW's done so well? Yes. But I feel like that is the most, and the fourth thing as well is WWE is a publicly traded company that has stockholders and stakeholders, and you can buy stocks in the fucking company, so they need to answer to people who own shares in this company. Whereas back in the Attitude Era, it was a privately owned company where they could technically just do whatever the fuck they wanted, really, in theory. So I can't see them going back to the Attitude Era. It's not possible. I'm sorry. You can have elements of it, and it can be successful.
Let's actually entertain the idea for a second. Let's see, like, the current environment as it is. Imagine that in a TV-14 setting. What does that mean? That means that you get to call him Seth fucking Rollins, rather than Seth freaking Rollins. Maximum male models, you'll be able to see the outline of their penises through their clothes, more so than you already can. Cody Rhodes is going to bleed enough blood to fund the entire blood bank of America.
Yep.
Toxic Attraction will probably awaken a lot of different things in a lot of teenagers. And they'll probably let Finn Balor say "fook" at least once in a promo. Nothing's really gonna change.
Yeah, like that's the issue.
Thing.
But who cares? The show's 3 hours.
The show's bad anyway. Like, as we've said, AEW is rated the exact same rating, TV-14, and that's the only wrestling I really care about nowadays, besides Japanese wrestling.
Because the way that it's booked is better. The way that the characters are portrayed on television is better. Everything, the overall presentation is not sterile as fuck. That's the other thing.
Michael Cole isn't going to open the show being like, "Hey, fuckfaces, welcome to Monday Night Raw."
Welcome, you fucking bellends. Welcome to Monday Night Raw, you fucking...
Roman Reigns isn't going to say the N-word.
Yeah. Don't, no, please don't. And the thing is...
I mean, he almost did that one time, but...
Did he? When?
Yeah, there was a promo that he had with Seth fucking Rollins, if you remember. They sounded like he was going to say it, but like he cut himself off. Like, "You must be under a rock or something." That's kind of what it sounded like. I'll put in an audio clip for those listening now.
"You must be sleeping under a rock or something."
You can kind of hear it a little bit.
I couldn't hear that. Thanks for that. That's really
Yeah, well,
good.
fucking listen to the show on repeat, you dipshit.
I don't like listening to myself.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to skip forward.
Fine.
So what I'm saying is that nothing's really gonna change.
No, I mean the show's still 3 hours long, and don't get me wrong, right? You said Stranger Things earlier, right? That's TV-14.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Stranger Things. I think this season was really good. But fuck me, why did those episodes need to be 87 hours long?
I feel
It's
like that's
the
a
same
separate
thing
complaint.
with Raw.
I mean, long media for me is very hit or miss. It depends on how it's presented. If it's presented to me as a movie, sure. Like 2.5 hours, I'll sit and watch fucking Infinity War. That's fine.
Yeah, but you're going into
But if you're
it
presenting
knowing
it
it's
to
a
me as an
movie.
episode of television,
Yeah, like no,
an episodic television show,
1 hour tops.
an hour 15 maybe. I could barely get through fucking Sherlock. Like, that was a mental struggle for me. Because, it's a TV show, but it's like 1.5 hours each episode. What is this shit? Like, God, hell, I don't know how all these old fogies managed to watch fucking Midsummer Murders.
And
Or fucking Lewis.
Power, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, all these shows that last like 2 hours. I'm like, how the fuck do you do this?
Yeah, my dad watches, like, when I go back to his house, he watches Poirot, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's like
Poirot.
80... Oh, no, not that. Columbo, that's it. Fucking Columbo. Completely different fucking person. And literally, like, these episodes of Columbo go on for about 52 years. I'm like, has he solved the fucking case yet? No, he's only
No, he
found
keeps
his second
talking.
clue.
He won't shut the fuck up. That's why his episodes are so long. He won't shut the fuck up and do his detective work. That's why Sherlock took fucking 2 hours to solve anything, because he was just in his mind palace wanking off the whole time. How do you feel?
Are you sure you watched the right Sherlock? It wasn't like a porn version of Sherlock. I'm just throwing it out there.
How do you feel
Shercock.
about this
Shercock.
happening? Will you shut up and listen to the question I'm about to pose?
Sorry.
How would you feel about this happening 10 years ago?
Oh, a million times better.
In like 2012, we're talking like the Monday Night Wars version 2 with TNA. Like, imagine that. Would this have been better in any other time period?
I
Would
feel like
wrestling
this-
still be what it is today had they
They
not
should've-
gone PG?
They should have done this at about the time Punk did that promo. And
You think the pipe bomb?
Yeah, because wrestling had never been more popular since the Attitude Era. I had random people coming up to me who I never spoke to about wrestling, like friends in my hometown, and like, what's this about CM Punk leaving with the WWE title? Like, everybody was coming up to me going, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, excellent, here's the time to do it. Change everything, change it, fucking change
Well,
it.
CM Punk is a hero and Kevin Nash is a dickhead. That's what you'd say to them.
And the thing is, like, it's I feel like in some ways it's too little too late. I don't know. I feel like they've...
Well, I think
they've
this
gone
goes
too far
hand in
with it.
hand with the Vince scandal that's going on now. Like,
Oh, it's like...
I
oh,
really
we'll
feel
keep
like they
everybody
move it to
happy.
TV-14 and Vince McMahon gets ousted from power. We are in a new era. But if it's just, like, him booking the same shit, him being able to say riskier words and, like, I don't know, it's just, we've said it multiple times, I don't think anything's going to change.
I mean, not
But if
immediately.
Vince leaves, then by all means, we're in a new era.
Yeah.
Don't know what the fuck you'd call it. The panic era. Because you don't know what the fuck's going to happen and it makes you anxious. But, yeah.
I don't think short term anything's going to change. I think they need to implement more changes for anything drastic. Like, they need to change the way that they book. They need to change the showtime. They need to change... Kill the brand split. I think that they just end it. Just fuck it.
I mean, they basically have already.
Officially, fuck it. Just tell it. Just have somebody appear on television and go, this fucking thing is done. Like, it's like
This is dumb and stupid and we're not doing it anymore.
That's what Vince did, for fuck's sake. He appeared on Raw one time and is like, oh, the era of good guys versus bad guys is passe. And like, all this shit. And you're like, okay, well, you're gonna have to...
And yet that's still what they fucking do.
I feel like in the Attitude Era as well, like Russo's like, yo bro, coffee, bro. This
Yeah, that's
show's
all he
great.
said. He's incapable of forming complicated sentences.
Yeah,
He just says, he's like an action figure. He says the same 5 action phrases over and over again. Coffee, bro.
Yankees.
Ballyhoo. What does he say?
I'm from New York. Like,
what was your point?
I
You
don't know
wanted to
now.
do a Vince Russo impression for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a reason behind it. I can't remember now. The perils of getting old. You just don't remember shit. Back in my day, there was Vince Russo, and he fucking.
For me, if they don't open Raw with the old Raw is War intro, and they don't have fucking Stone Cold coming out to beat the shit out of Vince McMahon, no, it's the same old thing. I don't care. I'm still gonna watch AEW. I'm still gonna watch New Japan. I'm gonna dip my toes further into the Stardom pool.
Oh wait, that was going to be my point. I think this has potential, long term, to be significant change. Short term, I can't see them because even
It's
with
like the report says. There's no like official start date for it. It's just an internal decision that may come to pass relatively soon.
The issue, I've just hit my leg on my desk. But the initial Attitude Era, it was a slow drip feed of stuff where from about the end of 96 and like you watch the stuff from the start of 97, it's still sort of this weird quasi new generation Attitude Era kind of thing. It's not quite there yet, but they started to implement it very, very slowly. It didn't suddenly go from fucking Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels to Rock and Austin overnight. It didn't suddenly go from everybody has a fucking job for some reason and they wrestle, and then suddenly it's like, suck my dick! Like, it didn't go from that to that, like, instantly. It didn't go, it was a gradual progression. So what I'm saying is, long term, if their aim is to make it edgier and more AEW-esque, you ain't going to see it overnight because, number one, they have sponsors. If they suddenly just start going, so fucking suck my dick, Roman, you big fucking bastard. Like, you know what I mean? The sponsors go, what the fuck? So, like, you're going to have to, like, get new sponsors.
Suck my dick, you big bastard. Sponsored by Snickers.
Get some nuts. So that's the... Dude, that's not the slogan anymore, is it? It can't be.
No, but it should be for that night only. Oh my god.
That's the thing. It's one of those things where it's going to be a gradual thing for a multitude of fucking reasons. Because, for instance, the USA Network will have to fucking get used to this, and they can't just literally one day go from, oh, I'm gonna kick your butt, dude, I'm gonna whip your fucking ass, you fucking big boy.
I'm gonna fuck your mom.
Exactly, you can't go from, I'm gonna whoop your butt to, I'm gonna plow your missus. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It takes time to get there. But AEW, the only reason why from the offset it's been like that is because they were a brand new entity. They had no sort of thing to.
They're not partnered with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
See, this is what I mean. What are they gonna? I mean, how the fuck they're gonna have to figure out how all this anti-bullying stuff and working with kids is gonna work when you've got Roman Reigns telling everyone to suck his dick. Look, I don't know.
Kids, if you're being bullied, don't be a bully. Kick the shit out of them.
Remember, kids, don't be a bully. Get a steel chair and smack him in the back. Like, I don't know. Like, they're gonna have to figure out.
It'll be a gradual change of seasons, but will we watch it still?
No.
No. Because there's already a company out there right now doing it better than you ever did. And I'm at Bombshell.
Yes.
I think that's time to end the show.
Okay, so that's been the Suplah. Thank you for watching or listening. If you watched us on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, which you can download and listen on demand through your ears, through whatever device you have on Spotify. Search for the Suplah, you'll find us on there. we have a link tree. Go to linktree.com/thesuplah and you'll find our magic tree, where you'll find a whole bunch of magic branches that branch off to all the different magical things we've done. For instance, a Suplah Gaming, a Twitch that I keep saying I'm going to use, and then I get distracted because I'm an asshole. And there's also other things. So go to our magic link tree, where you'll find an abundance of Suplah tree stuff that won't be affected by this fucking heat wave that's going on in this country. God help us all. What else is there, Sam? Have I forgotten anything?
I like how I don't even have to say anything. You just sort of go on your own. Like you're put on a fucking hamster wheel. You just start running. You don't know when you're gonna stop, but you just kind of keep going anyway.
Yeah, that's
Linktree, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, gaming channel, Twitch, email, website, merchandise, everything on there. This has been the Suplah. What rating are we, Andrew?
Mature. Okay.
I'm gonna raw dog you after we're off the air.
No,
Goodbye, everybody,
I
and
don't
remember,
want that. No,
go fast and eat ass. I want Raw to end that way now. I want my Cole to end every fucking Raw with, remember, children, go fast and eat ass. Just like John Cena.